Hello friends, a very warm welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about Emmvee Photovoltaic Power Ltd, which is a company that manufactures solars, modules and cells. So this theme has been doing very well in the last couple of years or so in India, and hopefully going forward, it should sustain as well. Before we move forward, if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe right now because we are getting plenty of views but lesser subscribers. So do hit the subscribe button before we move on to discuss the video. Here is a small disclaimer as per SEBI regulations. You can pause the video and read it. We'll discuss the video in three parts. In the first part, we'll talk about the business of this company. In the second part, we'll break down and understand the financial statements in detail. And in the third part, we'll talk about the valuations of the stock. Before we start the business model of the company, let me explain the solar value chain so that this will be helpful and it will make it simple to understand the business of the company. In the process of manufacturing a solar panel or a solar module, the first ingredient is the polysilicon. This polysilicon is converted into ingots, and these ingots are further sliced into wafers. Wafers are further converted into solar cells. Cells are converted to solar modules, and modules together are used as solar panels in different solar projects. So in India, presently, companies are manufacturing solar modules and cells, and they are slowly backward integrating into other products as well. Even this company is presently manufacturing solar cells and modules, and in future, they have plans to further backward integrate. So Emmvee Photovoltaic manufactures solar modules and cells, and they are already working on setting up new manufacturing facilities for backward integration into solar wafers and ingots. So right now they are manufacturing solar cells. So for this, they buy wafers from outside, and they also buy other raw materials like glass, aluminium, EVA sheets and junction boxes. So all these as a combination get converted into solar cells, which get further captively consumed, and solar modules are made out of it. TOPCon is one of the latest technologies in this field, and this company is completely manufacturing all these products using this technology. There is a concept called domestic content requirement DCR. So if any project, solar project, which is funded by the government, it has a compulsive requirement to use solar cells and modules manufactured by an Indian company. That is giving the Indian companies protection against the Chinese dumping and the imports. So only the Indian companies which are classified under the list of ALMM, which are the approved list of vendors, only those are the vendors which can supply in the DCR projects. So the first ALMM list was for the approved list of vendors for module manufacturers. The second list which has come out is for cell manufacturers. So Emmvee Photovoltaic has appeared in the second list also under the cell manufacturers category. This gives this company differentiation or competitive edge over the other competitors in India. Currently, the capacity of modules is 10.3 gigawatts and cells is 2.94 gigawatt. Going forward by FY28, this will further expand to 16.3 gigawatt in modules, which is nearly 50 to 60% rise, and 8.94 gigawatt in cells, which is more than 2 times of cells. Utilization, if you see in FY26 for solar PV modules is about 43% and cells is about 70%. So cell utilization is fairly good, but the solar PV module utilization is appearing lower because recently the company has done capex and the new plant has come into production. For research and technical help, the company has done collaboration with a European company, which is a research institute called Fraunhofer. Emmvee Photovoltaic was started in 2007 and they got listed in 2025. If you see a breakup of their revenue mix, around 40% of the revenue comes from IPP projects. That means they are selling to other customers who are generating electricity themselves. The second category, which is 35%, goes to C&I customers. This includes commercial and industrial customers. So this means these are not electricity producers who sell electricity to others. These are industries which are producing electricity for their captive consumption. The third category, which is 25%, this includes the government projects as well as the various EPC players which establish the solar projects for the others. Talking about the industry, right now in this industry, roughly about 40 to 50 gigawatts is the demand every year. And going forward in the next 5 years, it is expected that this demand can increase by 50% to 100%. Right now, the solar capacity in India is about 132 gigawatts. And the power demand in India is expected to grow by 5 to 7% CAGR in the next 5 years. What is leading to this power demand? Everybody knows that is data centers, electric vehicles. So the consumption of electricity in India is growing day by day. Several schemes which the government is coming up like PM's Kusum scheme, PM Surya Ghar Yojana. So all these schemes which promote setting up of rooftop solars or solar projects will help in growing this industry faster in the next few years. So the industry size is good. The industry growth rate is expected to be good from a 5-year point of view. But in the short term, there are some challenges which this industry is witnessing. Although companies are ready to set up solar projects, but there are certain areas where the power transmission infrastructure is lacking. So that is delaying the solar projects in those areas. Coming to competition, this industry is getting very competitive day by day. There are old large players like Waaree, Adani, Premier, Vikram Solar, Goldie Solar. Then there are a lot of new players coming like Insolation Energy and several others. Apart from this, there is tough competition from China, and India or Indian manufacturers are only protected because of the government policies. This is the biggest threat to this industry. If at all the government policy changes in the future, the Indian companies will not be able to compete with the Chinese companies in terms of cost and in terms of quality. So as there is high competition in this industry, there are not much things which we can call it as moat or competitive edge of this company over the others, because there are a lot of companies which are equally good as this company. Then what matters in this industry? These are some points that matter. The scale matters, because as you manufacture on a very large scale, your cost of production is less. Then backward integration matters. The more you go backward integrated in the value chain, you become self-dependent and your cost of manufacturing becomes lesser. Technology matters. The more you upgrade the technology that you are using for manufacturing cells and modules, the customer will be willing to adopt that technology, and the efficiency of the products which you manufacture will be better. Capital matters, because these projects are capital intensive projects and they require huge investment. So you need to have deep pockets. Execution matters, because setting up of the project is okay, but executing and utilizing that capacity is important, which is becoming challenging as of now for these companies. Then customer trust, because they are setting up this power plant, trusting you for the next 10-20 years that it will efficiently run for such a long time. The government approvals, if your company has, you will be able to participate in the government tenders and projects. And how well you manage the supply chain, because no matter how much backward integrated we become, we will still be dependent on China for import of ingots or at least polysilicon. What are the growth plans of this company going forward? They are aggressively expanding their capacities. Modules is going to go from 10 gigawatts to 16. Cells is going to go from 3 gigawatts to nearly 9 gigawatts by FY28. A new 6 gigawatt manufacturing facility, which is totally backward integrated up till cells, is coming up in Bangalore. The total planned capex for ingot and wafer expansion is about 9 gigawatts in two phases, 5 gigawatts and 4 gigawatts. And this first facility of wafers and ingots will be planned in FY29. Order book is steadily growing. It has grown up to more than 9 gigawatts as on March 2026. So there is fair visibility of growth at least for the next couple of years or so. But there is one catch in the order book. Although the company has got the orders, if the execution at the ground level slows down, the deliveries of the orders may get delayed or deferred. What are the risks of investing in this business? There can be margin sustainability risk, because right now this industry is operating at a peak margin. They are operating at nearly 34-35% EBITDA margins, which are rarely sustainable in any industry, especially in industries where there is so much intense competition. So that is the biggest question in our minds as investors, because you cannot take these peak margins in your calculation for the next 2-3 years and come to the valuations and projections. Overcapacity risk. Read about any solar player in the listed space. Now you have many. Everybody is aggressively expanding capacities. China competition risk is always there, and we are protected by the government policies. Then the policy dependence risk, because one government policy change could impact the business of this industry. Technology risk, because you have to upgrade the technology and make it in line with the Chinese manufacturers as you go forward. You have to maintain your working capital more efficiently, because these companies are generally having high inventories. Raw material dependency risk, because no matter how much you backward integrate, you are dependent on China for the raw material. And customer concentration risk, which is specific in the case of this company. They have high dependency on the top few customers. Before we move forward, if you're not a part of a Telegram channel, do join today by clicking the link in the description so that you join the correct Telegram channel. Every day before the market opens, I share my view on the market. I'll also share a lot of interesting news and views which will help you manage your portfolios better. More than 10,000 people are daily in touch with me through my Telegram channel. It's a free channel, but do join only using the link in the description so that you join the correct channel and not a fake one. Coming to the financials, the revenue has shown massive growth in the last couple of years. You can see the chart. It has gone up from 500 crores in the last 5 years to 5,000 crores. So 10x revenue jump in the last 5 years is massive. a similar trend in the EBITDA from 100 crores to 1700 crores in the last 5 years, 17x jump. The EBITDA is growing faster than revenue because the margin expansion is seen from 19% to 34%. But we'll have to closely watch whether these margins sustain going forward. Return ratios are also very high because the margins have expanded so massively, and sustainability of these ratios also have to be watched going forward. Promoter holding is 80%, so the company has to dilute this to below 75% within 3 years from listing, so this will remain as an overhang on this company. Debt is under control. Inventory is on the higher side. The company has to maintain inventory more efficiently. Debtors are fairly okay, but we'll have to see the FY26 balance sheet more closely after the annual report is released, the debtors aging schedule. Cash flow conversion is okay, but it can be better. 45% of EBITDA is converted into operating cash flows in the 5 years average, but this should be ideally higher at 60-70%. If you see the Q4 numbers, growth has slightly moderated and margins have also slightly moderated. We'll have to see how the FY27 numbers plan out. And once the FY26 annual report is released, we'll dig down deeper and see the notes to accounts and other schedules. Coming to the valuations, which is the most interesting part, the company came out with an IPO at a price of 207. It went down below the IPO price up to around 170, then moved up to almost 300, and right now trades at around 258. So I would say it is not a very weak chart, but a kind of chart which is in the consolidation or a range bound zone. So markets seem a little nervous. This could also be because of the weak market sentiment. In terms of valuation, it trades at 10 times EV EBITDA and 16.5 times price to earning ratio, which are normalized. The derating has already happened and the valuations are not expensive right now. But remember that these calculations are on the basis of 34-35% EBITDA margins. So if at all the margins get compressed going forward, the valuation multiples will drastically change. So for the people who are already invested in this company, you can hold on for a while because they have certain order book. They are confident of executing their order book going forward. If not, the growth which they have got in FY25 and FY26, that kind of a growth rate of more than 100% may not sustain, but a decent growth rate may be there going forward also. The more critical part which we'll have to focus on are the margins in FY27. If those margins slightly get moderated and sustain more or less in this range, then you can continue to hold. But if they are getting compressed due to competition or any other reason, then that will be a sign of exit. For people who want to take a fresh position, I would say you should wait and watch for a couple of quarters and see Q1 results at least to see the growth rate and margin sustainability and then take a call. So that's about this company. I've tried to compress all the important points in a 10-minute kind of a video. If you like it, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you want me to make videos on your favorite stocks, do mention the names in the comment section. Do join our Telegram channel. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.